So there's no better way to start this off when with the most relevant viral clip I've seen in the past couple of days. Everett, there was a video of a female two-lane swimmer swimming in the streets of New Orleans. So Everett, I'm not joking about this, but it seems as if another like hurricane is in New Orleans. What the hell is going on?
So that lake happens to be next to my house.
A stream, a pond.
It happens to be next, and it happens to be literally next to my house. So my house is currently on an island. I live on Everett Island over here. It's very lonely.
Hey, no fly zone at Everett Island.
It is a no fly zone. It is a no fly zone. But I basically have to canoe to class every day right now. It's like Venice. It's a poor man's Venice. I'm like singing all the Italian love songs going down the streets and everything.
I've seen the clips of like Venice is flooding, and I saw this video of like a plaza area, and there was literally like
just standing
inches of water. I don't know what's going on right now. I've never been to Italy,
also,
so like, I'm not familiar with Venice.
My favorite part of this is, so my street, okay, like I'm on the corner, so I have two streets.
Got it.
One of the streets is where the lake is. All right. The other street is a real. Sure, but it's on an intersection, so it's all standing in the intersection.
I'd say
it does have a current. Okay, it's a river.
It is a river.
It's a river. But the main street that's the intersection is like the big main street that everybody drives down. And New Orleans and all of their...
You can't drive there anymore.
No, New Orleans and all of their, smartness decided to basically... The way to clean this up is to take pumps, run them from the river into the middle of the road, a street up, and this busy road that everybody drives down, and pump it into another street. So not only do we have one river on my street, they are creating a secondary river a block down and
help make that main river less
rivery. Yes, exactly. And my favorite thing is I was walking down that street last night, and it's like fully closed off. Like you would think that I'm in a third world country in the middle of an apocalypse right now. Like it is.
Real quick, how high up does the water go to like the sidewalk curb?
It's like on like it's like a riverbank, like or like a beach. Like it's like the waves are washing up on the side of the curbs. But they're fully pumping out. It's like a dam. Like it's shooting out water and everything onto like the sidewalks
so you guys
and
need
stuff.
To hire a beaver crew is what you're telling me.
They fully took these pumps, by the way. They didn't run them on the sidewalks or anything. They ran them on the opposite side of cars that are parked on the side of the road. So the cars can't move.
You have a car there too, correct?
My car's fine. But this is like up the side of the road where they're pumping the water to. They ran these super long lines on the other side of cars parked. Like they didn't ask these people to move their cars. They just put them there. So now the cars are stuck. The cars can't move.
Yeah, I mean, if there is some positive takeaway, this is one way to effectively clean up all the empty Whippet canisters from Mardi Gras. So like there is some positive to this. If it were up to me though, I think we should hire Ben Mintz to go out there and clean up these rivers. I think Ben Mintz is the perfect candidate to do this. I'm not sure about you, but I truly believe Mincy is the man to get this job done for the city of New Orleans and the state of Louisiana in general.
Well, send him to my house and we can discuss logistics because, like I said, it will take a canoe to get here.
Him and he there's like a solid chance he will come to your house. Like I would not cross that off the list.
Yeah, he wants a 2-lane football ring. But no, it literally I canoed to class today.
Yeah, no, you guys are taking like speedboats and jet skis to class right now. It is quite interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I saw that video of the 2-lane swimmer swimming in the river. Everett, I just want to know like how many potential diseases do you think she might have contracted just from that 4-second video?
I honestly don't think that she's got sick at all. Unlike a typical situation, it was like a main leakage, so it's like actually like clean water that got leaked out into the road.
Oh, okay.
But
Just some whippet
standardly,
canisters, just like around you and stuff. Nothing crazy.
if
Just
that was
standard New
from
Orleans shit.
like rain or just general like standing water, I would probably say about 15 diseases were contracted from that event.
Fair enough. That's a nice low ball, like a floor estimate.
Yeah, that is the floor estimate for how many diseases you've contracted. Most likely is more.
Yeah, but regardless of the disease talk, the fact that she was able to freestyle swim in that is, that's notable enough for us to bring.
Oh,
that.
I saw somebody the other day. I walked around the river on this day. I did not decide to canoe through it this day. She walked through the middle of it. And the water went all the way up to above her knee. So she was
real
like 5'6".
While we're also here, how it's, I'm guessing it's like 75 degrees too.
Right now it's
probably
62.
humid.
Right now it's 62.
Believe it or not, that's actually warmer than what it is in LA right now.
Oh boy.
Yeah, weather is very strange right now. I don't know what's going on.
Nice global warming.
But anyway, before we get into the show, got to shout our unnamed intern. Turned 21 today. Our unnamed intern. He's only, maybe next year for his 22nd birthday, we'll reveal his name, but not right now. He's been fucking pissing me off over the past month. And
yeah.
He knows it too.
I think he pissed both of us off.
He knows he's not getting any real love.
Well, he knows he does still really want to sell those bucket hats. Because in his contract, obviously, we did stipulate he would get all of the bucket hat money.
I am going to apologize. I did accidentally leak them early. I do want to say, though, the miscommunication was his fault because he announced it to us like, guys, get ready for this bucket hat promo. But he did not specify, do not actually promo it for another 2 weeks.
Well, he specified that to me. That was just you. That's your fault.
You guys have your own private text that I'm not on.
That's just called direct one-to-one text. That's just a direct text message. Although to get him to respond,
I'm being filtered out here.
To get him to respond takes a lot of effort. So I don't know if I text him normally, if I'm DMing him, if I have to send a pigeon to talk to him. Like, I don't know.
I might need to go get my own Hedwig owl, and he might have to just go directly mail it out to him in Santa Barbara.
Literally.
It's absurd at this point. This guy doesn't check his email. It's just pathetic. It's really, really pathetic.
I have to fax him every 3 days just to get a response.
Yeah, no, like I do not own a fax machine. I have to go sprint to the fucking USC library. Like, do you guys have a fax machine? The lady working there is like, what? I'm like, fuck. Got to find another place.
You sending messages in bottles.
It's crazy. But yeah, without further ado, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to an extremely, extremely exciting episode of the Waterboy Podcast. Today it is episode 108, and the Los Angeles Lakers have officially made the playoffs. It was never in doubt last night. It was never in question. Lakers blowing out the Timberwolves by 40 points. It was never in doubt. From the get-go, the Lakers were draining threes, started off the game. What was it? LeBron started the game off, I'm pretty sure 6 for 6 from the field. I think 5 for 5 from 3. He was lining it up. Oh, wait, that was the Timberwolves.
That was Mike
Conley. That was Mike Conley who started the game off fucking 6 for 6, and Karl Anthony Towns who turned into Prime Hakeem. Quote from the words of Sports Talk, Barry the GOAT. But literally turned into Prime Hakeem last night. Mike Conley was essentially Steph Curry, could not miss. But the only thing that was a little peculiar about the Timberwolves, Everett, where the hell is Anthony Edwards? I didn't see him out there. Was he playing last night?
No, it was his twin.
Oh, yeah. Tony Edwards, his twin. Yes.
Yeah.
Or Andrew Edwards. I'm not sure.
Not really sure. There's a reason why people don't really know his name, but showed up.
Yeah, let's just say I'm shocked. I'm shocked that the Timberwolves lost this game. This is another thing I want to bring up. Okay. So as a betting man, I could be open about it now. one of my rules when it comes to betting is do not fade a team because one of their star players is missing. That, in my opinion, that's not a good reason to fade a team. And so when the Timberwolves lost Rudy Gobert by I found out it was the GM who suspended him. It wasn't the coach. It wasn't any of the players who wanted suspended. I'm pretty sure it was someone in the higher ups who suspended him. But with that whole mentality, that mindset, him being out, that sends a message to Kat and Ant. Well, Ant didn't get the message, but it sent a message to Kat and Mike Conley that we need to pick it the fuck up, and no one's giving us a chance to win this game. So we need to elevate our game to win this shit, prove everybody wrong. The Lakers, though, from their team mentality entering the game, oh, no Rudy Gobert, no fucking Josh McDaniels. We could just go out there and just be the Lakers. Jaden McDaniels. We could just go out there and be the Lakers. We don't even need to try. We'll just win. And so I truly believe that whole mentality thing was a massive part of how slow the Lakers came out in this game and how aggressive and hot the T-Wolves came out in this game. Another thing, though, that I was being pointed out to on stream is that with no Rudy Gobert in the lineup, the T-Wolves, they become much smaller and they add way more three-point shooting into their lineup when they have no Rudy on the court. And recently, the Lakers have been struggling very hard on defense. And so early game, the T-Wolves just could not miss. I think they were 53% from three at halftime.
Yeah, no, I mean, when Cat's draining threes too, like it's nothing.
Never a good sign.
Not a good thing.
And there were also so many amazing little tiny college storylines in here. Battle between Kentucky big men, AD versus Cat. Battle between Ohio State point guards, D'Lo versus Mike Conley, and D'Lo was also missing. He was not at the game last night. D'Lo was not there. But you know who was there, Everett?
LeBron James.
Well, him too. But the prodigal son returned. Dennis Schroeder. He actually did something for the Lakers. From being a key offseason Laker pickup 2 years ago to him turning down $84 million that year to then signing a vet minimum with the Celtics and now back on the Lakers on another vet minimum. For him to hit that corner three and then AD ruins his fucking moment. But for him to hit that corner three, the prodigal son has returned home. Dennis Schroeder, he's written his wrongs. In my book, he's forgiven. I know it's a play-in game, and I am kind of making fun of Pat Bev a little here, acting like we just like won a playoff series. But that was his moment. And yeah, AD took it away for being LeBron quote here for having a brain fart at the end of the game. Quote from LeBron. AD messed it up, but Dennis Schroeder, that was ice in his veins. And I will never forget that picture. You see Dennis with the ice in his veins, the D'Lo ice in his veins. Then you see LeBron doing it. And then right in the background, the corner, you see A-Rod standing there like that. Beautiful, beautiful picture. That needs to be a meme. It needs to be a meme. And I want it in GIF form too. I don't want it to be a still. I want it as a GIF. But what a game. What a game by the Lakers. And by what a game, I mean, the last quarter legitimately looked like a pickup basketball game. It was like,
it's the last 5 minutes.
Players, they get the ball like on the low block, and they just I don't really know the verbiage here. I call it fucking just flare cross court passes from the corner to the other corner.
They're just hucking it.
At the beginning of the game, nobody was defending it. You just lob it over the entire team, and no one would try to steal the ball. It's just a free pass. But later in the game, the T-Wolves were trying these crazy lob flare passes, and almost all of them just go into the fucking fourth row of the stands. It was so funny. Kyle Anderson down the stretch was just throwing away possessions, legitimately throwing them away. But what a win for the Lakers. We're moving on. We got a date with Memphis, who, of course, the Lakers-Memphis content this year, going back when Shannon was beefing with Ja and Steven Adams at that game in LA. Literally, the Lakers beat Memphis like right before the All-Star break, and Memphis hasn't been the same since. Like since that Shannon Sharp Memphis game in LA,
Ja went off a cliff.
Have not been the same. Ja went off the rails also in that meantime. but I'm pretty sure Steven Adams is also out right now.
Yes,
at
he
least for
is.
the first round of the
I'm not gonna
playoffs.
lie.
But the Lakers cannot use that as like, oh, we don't have Steven Adams, we can walk in here and dominate. No, we just learned our lesson.
I was about to say, I'm not gonna lie. I think the Lakers basically going through that with the Timberwolves hopefully makes the sentiment to them that they cannot just dick around.
Hopefully.
So you never really know, but I think that the Lakers are in a good spot to kind of win this series, and I think the Grizzlies always are just kind of cocky, and sometimes that works out for you. But
they're the most annoying team in the NBA right now.
Sometimes that works out for you.
Brooks more than Draymond Green.
Sometimes that works out for you, but about 2/3 of the time, it bites you in the ass, and that's what it's looking at. And we're talking about a playoff LeBron here.
Yes,
like he has, I don't know how many years left playing. LeBron wants
at
this.
minimum 2.
Yeah, LeBron
at minimum when
LeBron wants this
at minimum. So this is going back to LeBron saying that these upcoming 25 games are the most important games of my career. He was injured for like 23 of those, so he still has 22 more important games left. He said that. So by nature, him being injured but still saying these 25 games are most important of my career, he essentially just confirmed that the Lakers are going to the NBA Finals and will play in 22 more games this season.
I mean, with the way the NBA works, considering it's probably partially rigged, that makes sense.
Oh, the NBA's it's just like fully rigged. Like I'm also we'll get into this more when the draft comes up, but when that lottery happens, whoever gets that 1 seed, they're getting Wembanyama, or that number 1 pick, they're getting Wembanyama, and it's literally going to change their franchise.
Also, just stating, like it's also not like we haven't seen the NBA be fixed before. The Knicks getting
no, the frozen letter, Patrick Ewing. What are you talking about? That never happened.
The Kings Lakers playoff game in like 2004.
No,
7, whatever it was.
No fixing there, Everett. There was nothing. But actually, real quick, now that you bring up the Kings, in my opinion, the most interesting first round playoff series is going to be this Kings Warriors series. The Warriors have been awful on the road this year, just absolutely atrocious. And the Kings have just suddenly turned it around. De'Aaron Fox is playing like a stud. Sabonis, everyone was ripping on the Kings for that Halliburton Sabonis trade, and look how it turned off. Look where the Kings are and look where the Pacers are. So you could say it worked out. And then, of course, they get Kevin Huerter from Atlanta, and this man is disgusting from 3. So the Kings have a nice little roster assembled together, and I actually think like they could knock off the Warriors in like fucking 6. I'm going to still pick the Warriors to win that just because they're the defending champs, but I'm very concerned about the Warriors on the road, and maybe Sacramento isn't quite a road game, because not that far, and I'd go out on a limb and say there'll be a lot of Golden State fans in Sacramento for that series.
I mean, there might be more gold there than purple.
But also, the Sacramento Kings haven't made the playoffs in so long that
I don't think they have made it since DeMarcus Cousins was on their team.
Oh, I'm not even sure if they made it with him on the team. But like the Kings have not really been quite relevant in a while, so I think there's a chance that maybe Kings fans show out big for this because they haven't made it in so long. Oh, this was the craziest stat I've heard. The Sacramento Kings will be playing on ABC for the first time since 2007. 16 years since they've been on ABC in a national primetime game.
Keep this in mind. The last time they played a national primetime, I was still a permanent resident in LA.
Los Angeles. I was 5 years old the last time the fucking Kings got a primetime ABC game. That's absurd. That's absurd. I mean, holy shit. But I'm very interested in that series. I'm very, very interested in see how it does. I'm a big De'Aaron Fox guy. I picked Kentucky to beat Lonzo Ball that year in that March Madness run, so I will always be Team Fox and Team Malik Monk, always. But Everett, you got anything else on the NBA?
I don't have anything else. We're recording this before the play-in game tonight between the Pels.
The 9-10
and OKC. Wish I was going to that. Unfortunately, I do not have money to do that. So I will be watching from home.
I also, while we're at it, Zion Williamson, according to the trainers and the med staff, he has been physically cleared to play, but they said he mentally is not prepared to play in this game.
Yeah, he is still mentally fixated on the cheeseburger that he had for lunch. So prayers are with him.
The story of Zion could be very interesting because when he is playing, he has lived up to the hype. Okay, like he is Zion. And I wasn't even sure if he was going to be able to dominate like that in the NBA, but he has when healthy. The only issue is this Greg Oden? Is he going to be hurt and just cannot play? That's what the Pels got to decide. But I mean, they gave him that max contract last offseason, so maybe it'll come back to bite them.
Hopefully. Yeah, maybe get a better training staff.
But okay, MLB Everett, your favorite player last year. You were putting on for him to be a starter in the All-Star game, believing that he deserved it for having the batting at the time best batting average in the MLB. But
he still won the batting title.
No, I know, but I was saying at the time he was a significant lead.
I think he had the highest on base percentage as well. I think that was part of my argument is he had the highest on base percentage.
It could have been that as well.
Or walk rate. It might have been walk rate.
But regardless, Luis Arraez hit for the cycle last night, and he now has a 537, 596, 732 slash line, giving him a little over 1,300 for his OPS. Pretty fucking solid, if you ask me. I did want to quickly shout out, though, on the flip side of that exchange, Pablo Lopez for the Twins has been lights out. I have him in my fantasy baseball league. You guys are welcome, Waterboy faithful. I put myself in a public random fantasy baseball league specifically so I can follow random players that I would not follow on the Dodgers so I can learn a little bit about them. So this year, you guys are going to be getting Pablo Lopez updates. Unfortunately, you guys are getting Juan Soto updates too. But my favorite players that you guys are getting updates on, Vladdy Jr., Spencer Strider, and that shitbag Aaron Nola who sucks. You guys are going to get a lot of information on them. And right now, Pablo Lopez is one of the best pitchers. He 1.35 ERA, 0.65 WHIP, 26 strikeouts, Everett, and I think I have this correct. 26 strikeouts in a little over 19 innings.
Yeah, he had a little slip up the other day. I think it was yesterday when I think they're playing the White Sox right now. First inning, bases loaded, ended up getting two runs.
Gave up 2 runs.
I had a nerfy on that game.
Gave up 2 runs in the first inning, Everett, but then he pitched 6 scoreless afterwards. That, to me, is more impressive than anything.
Coming back off, yeah. Just mentally resetting.
To have a really shaky start and then settle in and go 6 scoreless, that's super impressive to me. So Pablo Lopez.
Yeah, but let's get back. Let's get back to my guy, Luis Arraez. I think he's still batting 500 right now. I think
537.
As pure as batters go this year, he's not the home run guy. He's the contact guy. And I think that he still is clinically underrated as a batter, even as a fielder too, but specifically as a batter. And I think that Luis Arraez is the best batter in the MLB this year.
Oh, wow. How about best at hitting for contact? Let's start there.
Best contact hitter in the MLB this year.
Let's do that. This is why I was like, let's say Luis Arraez, okay? He has a 1,300 OPS and a 537 batting average, okay? I would rather have the guy with his numbers are quite fucking inflated. But last year, I have his numbers from last year. Last year, Luis Arraez had an 800 OPS and a 316 batting average, okay? In my opinion, I think I would rather have 800 OPS, keep that the same, but I'd rather have the guy with the higher slugging and lower batting average than Luis Arraez at the first base position.
I think Luis Arraez is playing second.
Is a utility man.
He's playing second.
He plays third. He plays first. He goes all around the horn. But in my opinion, going back to last year, him not getting that all-star starter nod, I do think just for the first base position, you're expected to have a bit more pop in the lineup. And if it was second base, Luis Arraez, which I think
that is his primary position right now.
It makes
second
sense
base.
that he's playing second right now because Jazz has moved to center and he's not playing second anymore. So that does make sense. For your second baseman, yeah, I want the guy who gets on base. Don't get me wrong.
It's just like the amount that he also walks on top of just getting hits is it's insane. And I'm
going to slightly push back on your comment on his walks. Last year he had 50 walks and 600 plate appearances. He is up there to hit, which I'm not calling him out.
No, yeah.
If you can't hit, but
the bigger statement is knowing the strike zone. Like that is where he excels. Is he's like, it's really hard to strike him out. Luis Arraez does not strike out often. If he gets out, it typically is on a line drive or a pop-up or something.
Oh, yeah. No.
It's not.
I'm very impressed. 50 walks, 43 strikeouts last year.
Yes.
He has a positive walk to strikeout ratio. You love seeing that in your hitters. You love
like I just think as pure as knowing the strike zone and contact, Luis Arraez is the pinnacle of players in the MLB.
All right. Well, that is high praise for Luis. He's so contact. Literally ranks bottom 4% of the league in hard hit balls, yet he still has a 530 batting average. Yeah, he's Mr. Contact. He's Derek Jeter. This is amazing, Everett. Top 2% in league in strikeout rate, meaning he's very good at not striking out, so that's a good thing. But for that Marlins team, it could work out having him being the contact guy. Jazz has some pop. Fuck it. Jesus Sanchez got some pop in him. Marlins are due put in some work right now. But yeah, we had to give some flowers to some boys that we've been going over a lot. So Luis Arraez and Pablo Lopez, you guys are the stars of the week. Also implicated with Everett in that Minnesota trade. Everett, next thing that you were very excited to talk about, Everett, why don't you break this down for us with the Bats boy in New York?
Bat boy, or is it a ball boy?
This
is a bad boy.
I think it's the bad
boy. Yeah, so this picture came out the other day on Twitter, and it went viral over Twitter of a New York Yankees bat boy repping a nice facial hair, nice stash. I believe that was fine. I think that was fine. The issue is
should be able to have a mustache.
Yes. The issue is he had hair basically down past the end of his neck, past his collarbone.
Yeah, I mean that's one way to phrase it. The shit was almost at the New York words.
It looked like me in 7th grade.
Yeah. Actually, yes.
Yeah.
And if you want,
I'm not gonna. No, I'm not. I'm not doing that. That is saved for a later time. That is something the Waterboy faith will have to work.
You guys have to earn that.
You have to earn that one. That needs to be earned, because once that goes up, it's there forever.
There's no coming back.
Yeah, no.
You're giving them free reign.
They can think about it. They can see what this dude looks like, and then imagine me with that hair. But yeah, so obviously, if you don't know, the Yankees have a rule that you can't have any hair. Basically, I think it's past the bottom of your ears. Maybe it's whatever at your neck level, something like that, right?
I know. I'm pretty sure they're allowed to have mustaches, so it might literally.
It might be like right here, like past your lips. Regardless, either way, this dude was majorly infraction of it, and people were like noticing. It was like, does it not apply? It was weird because he's wearing a Yankees uniform, and you'd never see somebody in a Yankees uniform with hair like that.
The rule is like Yankees, they don't have names on the back, but it's like you don't want any hair covering the Yankee jersey. Like that's how it initiated. It's like the Yankee brand and jersey carries so much respect that you don't cover that shit up with your hair.
So
that's how it originated. This guy was violating that.
This goes viral on Twitter because nobody's ever seen somebody in a Yankees uniform with the long hair before. They're like, does it not apply to this dude? Or like, this is so weird to look at, etc. Whatever. The next day, the Yankees are in their second game of the 3-game series. The same dude goes on TV, except now hair's completely gone. So the Yankees, maybe it's up in a bun, but the Yankees forced this man to cut his hair for all-purpose necessary.
At minimum, put it in a bun and not let that shit go on national TV at minimum. But
how do you think that conversation? Do you think it was the GM walks down to the bat boys like, "Hey, Mike,
I think
you're doing a great job."
I think it really could have been like multiple different people. Like now Brett Gardner is not on the team anymore, but I know Brett Gardner would have fucking said something to him if he saw that shit. Brett Gardner would not live for that horse shit. And I would guess Boone. Not sure if Boone said anything. I think Boone is so fucking worried right now about just doing his job. I'm not sure if he gave a fuck about. I'm not even sure if he like realized who the Bat Boy is.
Probably doesn't know his name.
Now, I'm not sure. I would guess it was a higher up. I would guess it was a higher up.
That's my assumption too.
Boone, or if if Brett Gardner was there, he would have probably shaved it himself. But I'm not sure if Boone did. I do think, though, let's just talk about the Yankee hair rule in general. I remember when I like first truly became aware of this, I was in high school and one of my teachers was like a really big baseball guy. And he was like, "This is the stupidest thing ever. Guys shouldn't be forced to cut their hair or anything. Like, who the hell are the Yankees to tell you what you can do?" Feel free to call me weird. I kind of fuck with the rule. I kind of like the rule where it's like the Yankee brand is so big that you cannot cover that up with anything.
I like the rule now because it's been tradition for so long.
Yeah, no,
that's the way it's always. But if you're talking,
this was invented 15 years ago, fuck that. But because it's been in place literally since Babe Ruth was on
yeah, like I'm okay with that. But if it like, let's just say the Commanders, once Dan Snyder sells the team, somebody buys it, right? And this new owner for the Commanders like
come in with a new rule.
They're like, I want to start a new rule because it's a new team. No, everybody has to have long hair. Like that's the rule. You have to have long hair. That's the new Commanders brand. I'm gonna be like, what the fuck is this shit? So
I'm gonna be honest. Like, I mean, I don't have facial hair or long hair, so it doesn't apply. But if I did, like you
got some stuff,
for example. Yeah, no, I know, but I think I would much rather shave off my beard than be forced to grow it.
Just scraggly as shit.
Much rather shave anything here.
Oh, you're gonna be uncomfortable.
I guess I'm a little more on the side of it because like for my high school football team, you had to shave your head.
Yeah, it's camaraderie. It's camaraderie. So, like it's
like if anything, I'm kind of a fan of it, and also shaving your beard. That's not like a big commitment. Like
no.
Well, it is different for some people. It is different for beard guys, but it's like you're not like asking anything crazy out of the like it's not like the craziest demand of all time.
No, I think that it's
and have a different idea because he looks like a baby, but
really for most people, it's probably fine just because innately like guys typically don't have super long hair or don't like some guys don't have facial hair, whatever, beard, right? But the beard, some might be upset, especially if you're just a baby face like Garrett Cole. Garrett Cole lost two things when he came to the Yankees: his beard and spider tack. So
his ability to pitch well. Yeah, spider tack. Yeah, that too.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, I think it's fine for the Yankees specifically, but I don't think that any other team will ever be able to kind of replicate that. Like the only way that it's literally if the team was literally with its inception, its creation, that's fine. But also, I don't think that a team could be created right now. Like if the MLB made a new team and like I think there's talk about them making one in Utah right now in Salt Lake City. If they made that team and they decided to implement a rule like that, I think that'd just be dumb. Like it has to have historical connotation.
Now, let's say Utah does get a team. I think we're going to be kicking the Astros out of the AL West because just geographically that doesn't make sense anymore. And NL West, we're kind of filled with teams on the West Coast, like every NL West.
Yeah, you're filled all the way.
Rockies, I guess.
But that's like the max.
But that's
I also though like I don't know where they'd go because they like then it'd be an odd number.
Add two more teams. You can't be at an odd number.
Yeah.
Like you have to at least add two, but then that shakes up all the fucking divisions. Then might have to become to the NFL instead of I don't think expansion is possible for MLB now that I think about it. I actually don't think it's fucking possible. I'm not sure if they could do that. But yeah, that's enough baseball talk. That's enough baseball talk. On to some college football news, Everett. Kliff motherfucking Kingsbury is the quarterback coach for USC. I just want to start off by saying this. USC, I really think they could average 50 plus a game last year. Oh, no.
Sirens.
God damn it. Fuck. This is going to be a bad year of USC football. Fuck. Oh, no. God damn it. The fucking... No, that... Oh, fuck.
Well, it didn't catch it. It didn't catch it. It didn't catch it in the mic.
Oh, no, but the sirens just went, fuck, Everett. Okay. I have to scrap this whole segment. It doesn't matter how many points we're going to score next year because we're going to give up 40 plus a game with Grinch at DC.
At DC.
Everett. Okay, I was about to have a lot of fun with like Caleb throwing to like Mario Williams, Zach Branch, Deuce. He has fucking 3 5-stars. He gets a 30 next year. Fuck it. I'll even throw Brendan Rice in there too. But no, never mind. The fire department had to say something about it. Okay, Everett. Lincoln and Alex Grinch are fucking dogs. Okay, they're boys. They've been working together at Oklahoma for a very long time. But so is Lincoln and Kliff. They have a lot of history going back to Texas Tech. Both were quarterbacks at Texas Tech. So could this possibly just be Lincoln Riley replacing his best friend in Alex Grinch with his new best friend so that when he fires Grinch at the end of the year, he'll already have a best friend there on staff. And so he'll have someone to hang out with on the weekends. Is that what's going on?
I mean, it's a possibility, but also I'm just
not ruling it out.
Being completely honest, the last quarterback that Kliff Kingsbury had in college was Patrick Mahomes, I'm pretty sure. Mm-hmm. The fact that Texas Tech didn't do better with one of the potential best quarterbacks of all time on their roster moderately concerns me. Oh, and Kyler Murray being low-key ass the last couple of years.
I'm taking the jab more at what he did in the NFL.
I'm a little
Texas
concerned.
Tech, he can get a slight pass just because it's Texas Tech and it's very
hard I'm a little concerned with Kliff Kingsbury, so I don't really know. We'll see. Maybe they both get fired by the end of the year. So
I'm just thinking I have a feeling that Lincoln might be trying to take a little bit of the Ryan Day approach this offseason with how bad the defense has been and how hands-on they are with the offense. So next year, Ryan Day is giving up play calling duties for the first time in his career since coaching at Ohio State. Since he arrived at Ohio State in 2017, I believe, he has been calling plays for them up to last year in the fucking game against Georgia. Next year will be his first year not calling the plays. He's handed that over to Brian Hartline, who will be a first-time offensive coordinator, play caller for literally first time in his career is calling plays, which I'm very nervous about. But I think Lincoln's trying to do this Ryan Day approach. Like, our defense is actually so fucking awful. I cannot just completely leave it up to my DC anymore. I need to have some influence on the defense, or else this isn't going to work. I can't just essentially be the offensive coordinator with the title of head coach. Like, it's not going to work like that. So in a way, I think just in terms, I'm literally trying to spin zone this as much as I can. Like,
also, I just want to say this though. I understand they're boys, but also, one, it's a business, but two,
I don't think you should ever hire your friends when it comes to coaching.
But two, like, he is doing a terrible, terrible job. Yeah, and I guarantee you that UFC job, if it was an opening, might be the best opening in all, like the most desirable opening in all of college football right now.
For DC?
For DC. Desirable just by location and by the way that the team is being built. And like the accessibilities that you have for player recruiting and all that stuff.
Yeah, it's just USC's in California, and the fact that we couldn't get Mateo Uiagalelei last year is just absolutely pathetic. Like, that's absolutely atrocious.
So how do we? I think that if Alex Grinch were to be fired, you'd be able to get one of the top DC options, pretty easily. The only thing that I wanted to say, though, by the way, is how do you think Kliff Kingsbury feels to go from being the head coach of USC, even though it was for like a day, to now just being the quarterback coach of USC?
Yes. Well, he wasn't head coach. He was offensive coordinator at USC. And then I found out it was 38 days later, but it felt like 30 minutes after that got announced, he took the Arizona head coaching job. But let's look at this from the perspective of Kliff, okay? Kliff just got fired. Was it 1 year into his extension with the Cardinals? 1 year into his extension, so he got a fat-ass buyout from Arizona.
Also, can we just talk about how dumb a lot of teams are? Because I feel like it's every time that one of these coaches that we all know is ass gets an extension and then it gets immediately fired. Like, why teams don't just let coaches play out their contract? They don't understand.
Well, I'll slightly push back on that. It's just more so it was just stupid to extend these guys in the first place. Like I'm actually fine with firing and axing coaches.
I am too. Obviously, I'm not going to be like, if your team's bad, don't fire your head coach.
No.
But I'm more so saying, like,
even giving him that.
Even with Matt Rule, like, he got an extension, I'm pretty sure, and then they fired him the same deal. And I think both of them still had years left on their contract. They had at least another year left.
Out. We were talking about this earlier. Being a recently fired NFL head coach is the greatest
job.
No.
But I'm saying before the extension, they would have had years left on their contract still, and then they added the extension to it, and then got bought out. I think Kliff had one more year, because I think the initial contract was like 5 years.
It could have been. It's just like, I'm looking at this from Kliff's perspective here. Okay, obviously you want to be a head coach, especially in the NFL. And also just NFL compared to college. NFL is just a much lighter schedule. You don't need to be recruiting 16-year-old kids who are asking for help on algebra 2 and how to factor. Like, I completely understand that you don't want to recruit fucking kids. So in terms of his daily workload, I would actually argue that Kliff's daily workload has increased by becoming a college quarterback coach.
Yes, because now he's recruiting.
The overall stress and pressure is down, of course, but
also now his recruiting pitch.
God fucking damn it! I gotta go recruit.
His recruiting pitch most likely is, I was a coach in the NFL. I know how the NFL works. I know what teams are looking for. I coached Patrick Mahomes. I've coached Kyler Murray. He's got a great.
We're gonna shit on
line.
him here. Obviously, what's gone down at Arizona the past couple of years, but it's like high school kids don't really like the fact that he was an NFL head coach and like worked with Kyle. Like, that is actually enough for high school kids to be like, I want to play for you, rather than, I don't know, a guy like Tommy Rees at Alabama. He has zero evidence of any success in producing players in the NFL.
Mac Jones certainly is not helping.
Well, that wasn't his guy either. He just came from Notre Dame. So I guess like his biggest shout out is Jack Cohn and
Ian Book.
What am I saying? Ian Book. The
still hasn't done anything.
Well, what am I saying? I'm pretty sure he's not on the Saints.
I think he's on the Eagles right now.
Yeah, I was about to say I don't think he's on New Orleans anymore. But Kliff, I think he's hyped because he still is getting the Arizona buyout money, and I bet he's getting a nice salary to coach at USC.
And yet he probably still can barely afford a house in Los Angeles because of how bad the prices are.
Well, the hardest problem just finding a house. Good luck just finding a house in LA, bro. Like, damn, it's gonna be rough. He might have to live in Lincoln's guest house for like the next year or so. Like, Lincoln's house is hilarious.
Maybe call up Sean McVay. Just be like,
last little detail. We're not naming any names or anything, but I know a quarterback at USC, and let's just say he was very, very, very hyped on Kliff coming. And I do think that it could be very beneficial because Lincoln can have a more hands-off approach.
We can also add that this unnamed quarterback that plays for USC that was on a lost episode of the Waterboy podcast that may or may not have been our best episode ever. Allegedly. You can thank somebody driving their car into a.
We had some coaching carousel news. Also, just had to quickly mention this. Big Ten hired their new commissioner, former MLB COO Tony Petitti. So Tony Petitti,
greatest GM like name ever.
Oh my God, this is our new commissioner.
Commissioner name ever.
Now I need to dive in a little bit more to what exactly this guy did with the MLB and everything. But if I have this correct, I think this guy was COO when MLB purchased Rawlings and the whole juiced balls, dead balls theories came into play. So I'm going to assume that this guy, I have no information or proof of this. I'm going to assume Tony Petitti led the charge to increase the scoring in the MLB, and that he might try to make the Big Ten a little more exciting. We might have some little special balls that maybe Air Nolan will be able to air out a little further than the other conferences. So I'm on board with this, at least in terms of that perspective. I'm not excited for blackouts to be coming, though, because the blackouts in MLB are now coming to the Big Ten. That we just hired an MLB guy. Not excited about that. I guess Ohio State will be fine, but fuck, if you're a Rutgers fan, good luck watching your game with Illinois. Oh yeah, that's blacked out.
Northwestern have a great time over there.
But yeah, Tony Petitti, he's and then last thing, 4-star linebacker Peyton Pierce from Texas, who is an Oklahoma legacy committed to Ohio State. This kid played high school football in Texas his whole life. As a freshman, he started for Allen, which is one of the top high school programs in the country. When Kyler Murray played for Allen, he did not lose a game there, but like 59-0 for Allen. So Allen's one of the top high school programs. He started for them at linebacker as a freshman in high school. I'm very excited about this guy. And I'm even more excited after I read the Oklahoma fan board's extremely pissed that they missed out on this kid and how important it was for them to land him. So shout out James Laurinaitis, Everett, going back to your point of hiring former players in coaching positions. James Laurinaitis, obviously very, very successful Ohio State career and NFL career with the Rams. So he's getting that shit done. I want to shout him out. Last thing I want to say about recruiting, Everett, before we get on to the NFL. I want to welcome you idiotic Michigan fans to the world of recruiting. I know it's been a really, really long time, probably never, ever since this era of 24/7 recruiting, having all these recruiting pages updating constantly. I know you guys have probably never like quite tapped into how this process works, at least in this part of the season up until signing day. So let me just let you guys in on some inside info. Do not celebrate your recruiting class in early April, okay? Do not do that. Ask Notre Dame last year. They learned that the hard way, bragging about their number 2 recruiting class in March. Do not brag about your recruiting class early. I think like 4 days ago right now, Everett, Michigan had the 2nd ranked recruiting class and Ohio State had the 5th ranked recruiting class. And I got a text from my Michigan fans saying, oh, the rivalry's over. Now we're beating you guys in recruiting. Everett, after a couple of days, Ohio State has now jumped Michigan in the recruiting rankings.
Yeah,
Ohio
you
State
don't want to rub that one in Ohio State's face.
Ohio State now ranks 2nd. Ohio State has one less commit than Michigan. And they're still ranked 10 points higher than them in recruiting. But the big difference for me, Everett, is that the average Ohio State recruit ranks at 94.17, which is a 4-star equivalent. Michigan's average is 91.49. That's a significant difference in terms of average player. And it's when I look at this right now, Michigan has 11 commits. Ohio State is 10. There's going to be 25 commits at the end of the day when it's all said and done. Right now, Michigan, 3 of those 25 overall commits are going to be 3-stars. Ohio State, we got 1 3-star committed right now. And the rest of those spots are getting filled up with 4-stars, not 3-stars. That's where the difference is going to come in. But welcome to recruiting, guys. If that was enough to convince you, this will. Alabama currently ranks 19th in recruiting, and we all fucking know they're finishing at worst 2nd in recruiting when this whole cycle is all said and done. So go look at Alabama's ranking right now and just remember they're going to be ahead of you. They're going to be ahead of Ohio State. I've already accepted it. They landed 2 5-star running backs last year and we didn't get any. They literally, the running back Ohio State wanted the most last year picked fucking Alabama over Ohio State, even though Alabama already had a 5-star running back in that class committed to them. So I know Alabama's going to beat us. It's going to happen. I'm okay with it. But Michigan fans, don't act like you're going to beat Ohio State now. You guys will get like maybe your first top 5 class, like since Harbaugh's here. Like I'll shout you guys out on that, but let's slow the roll here. Okay, Everett, time for some NFL.
I
You
don't
want to start us off? I've just been talking a lot, so
I honestly I don't like my big thing that I have for the NFL right now is still draft prep. We've got a couple picks to go through today, but
we can just wrap up with your picks. I just have one thing I want to say. There are rumors.
Oh no, you go. You got it. I was just gonna say
I've just been talking.
With the Aaron Rodgers trade, which still has yet to happen, even though we've said it happened multiple times, but now it's official. The Jets, apparently neither side, the Jets or the Packers, have been talking, have had any communication about this trade for weeks. And I'm saying this on April 12th. The Packers refused to budge. They want a lot back for Aaron Rodgers when a 39-year-old quarterback with one of the biggest cap hits in the NFL is clearly not worth that. The Jets aren't really willing to give up that amount. And it sounds like there are rumors that the Packers would be willing to just pay Aaron Rodgers to not play than rather get nothing, get what they don't want from the Jets.
Okay, let's just look at this from the Packer perspective real quick. Why the hell would you do that? Pay a guy to sit on your bench and not play, then get some capital. Now the Packers, I don't know what, they haven't drafted a first-round wide receiver to help Aaron Rodgers, and they drafted Jordan Love first round. Remember that guy. So they are very openly stupid when it comes to their front office decisions. But that might be the stupidest one I've ever heard. You let Aaron Rodgers sit on your bench because you're so petty and you're not going to trade him.
I mean, the team perfectly fits Aaron Rodgers
as a Vikings
fan. You would love that. I would, but I'd much rather have the prospect of him playing again in the NFC just be gone.
I hope you agree with me, but I hope that let's say he goes to the Jets, it's AFC. I hope you're rooting for the Jets to win the Super Bowl next year. Just because it'd be so funny if Aaron Rodgers wins one out of Green Bay.
It'd be great.
Yeah. Okay.
But also just as a general note, I hope the Jets find a quarterback, that's not named Zach Wilson to start next year. If this Aaron Rodgers trade doesn't happen. Also, if I'm the Jets, what if I just draft a quarterback in the first round? What if I just say fuck it and I draft a quarterback in the first round?
Correct. Or no.
They're later.
18.
What if I just draft a quarterback in the first round? What if I just get Hendon Hooker? What if I just say fuck it? What if I trade up? What if I trade up and get Anthony Richardson? Packers, what the fuck are you gonna do?
See how that works out. I don't think Garrett would like that, at least in the short term. I'm just very interested to see what's going on out there. One other thing, breaking news actually, Everett. There are rumors, keyword, that CJ Stroud is uncoachable and difficult to coach, and that he is very opinionated and he doesn't quite believe what coaches say to him. He's not really convinced when he's initially speaking to coaches by what they're telling him to do. Now, this is amazing, Everett. The Ohio State quarterback hit will legitimately never end, but this time, Everett, they can't knock him. They can't knock CJ Stroud for anything about his play as a quarterback or his playing ability. They're just coming up with fake narratives that he's uncoachable, which is just hilarious. Okay. This is the thing, though, Everett, we disagreed about this, but I actually think that this narrative is going to influence this draft. I actually would now bet against CJ Stroud going number 1 in the draft, just off of fucking this.
See, I don't know if that's also the case, because also just keep in mind a big thing for CJ Stroud, a big reason why the Panthers have been noted to have potential to take him. Frank Reich thinks he's great, right? But
I've heard the opposite. I heard Frank Reich doesn't.
Frank Reich thinks he's good, but he likes Anthony Richardson more.
Yeah.
No, he doesn't think that he's dog shit. He thinks that he's worth a top pick for a quarterback.
Hope nobody in the NFL thinks CJ Stroud's dog shit.
But he likes Anthony, the prospect of Anthony Richardson more. The bigger thing is the front office is enamored with CJ Stroud, and I don't think the front office gives a shit whether or not CJ Stroud is quote unquote coachable or not. So I don't think that really does make much of a difference.
Also, the way they describe CJ Stroud being uncoachable, they're saying that he's opinionated. Holy fuck. And he doesn't believe what coaches say to him. So what I kind of get out of that is that, wait, doesn't that kind of mean that CJ Stroud is very knowledgeable about football and he wants to push his coaching staff to put the best product on the field, I think I'd prefer my quarterback to have at least some slight pushback and, questioning as to why
just
we're
not
running certain routes, why we're running certain concepts. I'd rather him ask those questions to understand why.
Just not the Mac Jones, just not the Mac Jones kind of pushback.
No, not. Well, Mac Jones, I don't think Mac Jones will sit there like in the coaching room like fuck that. I think he'll sit there and be like, yeah, coach, just pretend he's agreeing with you, and then he'll go in the game and just do whatever the fuck he wants. I think that's more so Mac's
I also
style.
I don't really think. I think that whatever articles and shit that are coming out right now, I think it's all bullshit. Because realistically, to me, the way the draft works, the coaching staffs and the front offices are in their own world. They have their own sources, like their own scouting, their own opinions, their own rankings. Anything that we hear from experts on NFL.com or ESPN or these articles coming out about these prospects, unless it literally is an event that has occurred, like has happened with Jalen Carter, I do not think that any of it makes an impact with, like, I don't think that anybody on the Panthers team, Frank Reich, other coaches, or whoever else is going to read that article and be like, fuck, I guess we can't take him now. Like, I don't think that makes an impact. I don't think that it's going to sway their opinions at all. I think that whether or not it's the truth, the opinions of these coaches and of these front staff men are already made up on these players. And I don't think that it's going to be swayed by an article published by some random company to begin with.
Now, I'd like to go on board with that. I'd like to go on board with that too. I don't know what the fuck it is. It's just I've seen this happen so much where at one point, like Justin Fields was going to be the fucking number 2 pick or like number 3 pick. And then just in a matter of like a week or two leading up to the draft, out of the top 10. What the fuck?
Well, keep in mind, Trayvon Walker became the number 1 overall pick last year out of nowhere in the last 2 weeks. But that had nothing to do.
I have a feeling that also there's going to be a lot of changes in the next 2 weeks.
I think so too. But keep in mind that also had nothing, like Trayvon Walker last year had nothing to do with media posts, like kind of touting them up and stuff like that. It had nothing to do with that. And with the Justin Fields, Zach Wilson bullshit, Trey Lance bullshit, like I keep in mind Trey Lance went before Justin Fields. Keep that in mind.
I'll never let that down for the rest of my life.
It also wasn't really like there wasn't a lot of media for like Trey Lance in comparison to Justin Fields. It was a lot of look at what the fuck Zach Wilson did on his pro day. Look at this, look at that. But I don't think that made or broke his draft. I think that was just his public stock was the bigger thing.
Yeah, well, we'll see. I'm always under the impression that if something comes out from a direct NFL source, whether it be the coach, GM team, that is almost 100% a smokescreen.
It's all bullshit right now. I have
different opinions when it comes from different sources, though. Like, I'm pretty sure that it was scouts. This guy claimed that he heard from NFL scouts that this is what they're saying about him. But then again, at the same time, scouts might be trying to put that out there. Like, I'm talking like the Colts, the Raiders, or the Texans might be trying to put that out there so CJ falls to them.
It's definitely, it's definitely a possibility. I just think that I just don't think that it's anything like that is believable. I don't think that it's fair to believe that.
Yeah, well, we'll see exactly what goes on as everything winds down. I just want to say though that I think it's absurd that like game tape and game film seems to me like it's the least important thing that NFL scouts put out there. Mel Kiper said this the other day, Everett, about Will Levis. It was the funniest thing I've ever heard in my life. This was his reason why Will Levis was better than CJ Stroud. Quote, in 2021, so not last season, 2 seasons ago, in 2021, Will Levis, when he was on, had completed multiple NFL throws consistently. When he was on 2 years ago, CJ Stroud is on every single fucking time he's touched the field. And he is always making NFL throws.
Keep in mind, Will Levis
Northwestern in that game. Uh,
keep in mind, Will Levis lost a battle to Sean
Sean
Clifford.
Clifford at Penn State. Let's throw that in there too. But
So,
also, it's just Mel Kiper's reasoning as to why Will Levis is better than CJ is that 50% of the time, Will Levis is as good as CJ Stroud. That's why Will Levis is better than CJ Stroud. Excuse me? That like legitimately does not make sense. That was his reasoning why Will Levis is better than CJ, because half the time he plays like CJ.
yeah.
Makes no sense. But okay. Time for some draft wish lists.
So we're gonna do 2 picks today. All right, 2 picks. These are picks 9 and 10. Bears and Eagles, 2 teams I hate tremendously.
I have a strong opinion on who the Bears should draft, so I'm very interested to see what you say.
So originally,
both these teams also only have one first. Right?
Eagles have 2.
Okay.
Eagles have 2. The Eagles have this 10th pick and the 30th, I guess. Before I say anything, originally before the trade for DJ Moore happened, I probably would have had Jack Smith and Jigba going to the Bears. Thank God, because now he doesn't have to have his career suffer in agony in Chicago. Anyways, if I'm the Bears at pick 9, I'm definitely going to go with an offensive lineman here. Obviously, they drafted Tevin Jenkins last year, who didn't get to play, I don't think, and now they have Braxton, I believe Braxton Jones at left tackle, who played pretty well this year. But I still think that the best offensive lineman in this draft is Paris Johnson Jr., so I would draft him. If you want a guard, I think that Peter Skoronski will move inside. You can draft him as well, but Paris Johnson Jr. at 9 to the Bears.
Yep, that's what I would go as well. I think Paris is perfect for the Bears here. What was the problem with the Bears? Now, obviously, they didn't have receivers, but also they had no time to even run a play. And you know what? This could go back to the Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, Penei Sewell like meme of the guy throwing it over, and you can't even complete to Jamar Chase if you don't have a line.
Because you don't have, yeah.
I'm actually going to stick on that side though. Like I actually do think that the Bears do need to focus on the blocking first. Before,
but
like,
they managed. They can do both.
Really
they can do both.
Unit here,
they did both this offseason though, and I think, or could do both this offseason, and I think that's the big thing.
I do think go get Paris. Okay, go.
But yeah, I pick 9 if I'm the Bears. I'm probably going to draft an offensive lineman. Obviously, I know they have Tevin Jenkins, who didn't get to play much last year, and Braxton Jones, who played pretty well last year. But I would still get Paris Johnson Jr. and stick him at right tackle. Otherwise, you can get Peter Skoronski, put him at guard, where I think he'd play in the NFL. But I get Paris. And then I pick 10. At pick 10, there's a couple different things that the Eagles could do at pick 10. I think defensive lineman is going to be what they end up doing. Myles Murphy, I think, is a big name. You could see climbing these draft boards and end up going there at pick 10, which I know is pretty early. Other than that, though, Nolan Smith could climb. You could also see them take an offensive lineman, take Peter Skoronski to fit in where they lost their right guard to free agency. But I think, I mean, Lucas Van Ness could go as well, but I think who they're going to end up getting is probably Myles Murphy at 10.
That could be interesting. I feel like they could even move down a little bit.
They definitely, I think,
still be able to get him.
Yeah, I think that they could trade down. Actually, let me read, because that is a definite possibility. If I'm the Eagles at 10, I'm probably going to either draft an offensive or defensive lineman, or I'm going to trade down. The defensive lineman that most likely would get picked by them at this point is Myles Murphy, Lucas Van Ness, Brian Breezy is a possibility, or Nolan Smith. Otherwise, if I'm going to draft an offensive lineman, I'm going to get Peter Skoronski. I'm going to move him to right guard. However, I think all of those players could still be available a little bit later, so you could trade down, get some picks, and still draft them.
Yeah, I do think there's a lot of things that the Eagles could do. I am thinking though, like it probably would be best to focus on some defense right now. One thing that I was thinking about is they've had some guys on defense who have been there for a while. BG, Fletcher Cox, they've been there for a minute.
They're going to need to start replacing them.
They're going to need to start replacing them, and they've been doing that a little bit, picking up Jordan Davis last year. The fuck is the Edge's name? I'm forgetting it already. Who was their guy?
Their Edges?
Who's the Eagles? The Eagles' edge.
They traded for Robert Quinn. No, Hassan Reddick.
Reddick. So they have edge pressure and they're trying to beef up the interior a little bit too. But I actually think Miles Murphy makes a lot of sense. And he might not be starting every down because they have guys there, but more so pick up a thing. For DNs, I am on board of learning from the guys ahead. Pick up a thing or two from BG and Fletcher Cox, and it will help him.
Yeah. And now you're rebuilding that defensive line to be young. So when the old guys head out, you still have players who haven't even entered their prime yet. And I think
actually, now that I'm thinking about it, just for your sake, don't upload what we just said, because that is best case scenario for the Eagles. And if in terms of your happiness, let's hope they draft a quarterback.
Just get a kicker. Let's get a kicker in the first round. Let's get a Janikowski going. The only kicker to ever be drafted in the first round.
They got a lot of things they could do. I think that make a lot of sense going edge. Now, Brian Branch potentially to help their safety, because they lose CJ Gardner-Johnson.
I don't think he's going that high. I think that's
once again another trade down spot.
They could get Brian Branch if they trade down. I personally don't like that because I'd rather him go to the Vikings. But that is definitely possible. I just think that there's bigger holes to fill. They could get a corner too. Their secondary needs help. I think that that's a logical thing to have happen too. It just really depends. I don't think they're really going to be willing to draft a corner at 10. I think that they'd have to trade down for that, or they could get one at 31 if they want to trade down a little bit from that pick and just recuperate picks into the second round. But I think that their bigger thing is getting that pressure and stuff, because in the Super Bowl, we weren't seeing that much pressure from them.
Some of that can slightly go to Sodgate and the field conditions.
Yes, obviously. But I do think that they need to get younger and stuff, and that's but with that, thank you guys so much for watching, listening. Rate us 5 stars on Spotify. You can find us on TikTok, YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram at Waterboy Pod.
Oh yeah.
Make sure to follow me and Grant right here. Here are our handles. You can find us on Twitter at those handles there. Thank you guys so much for watching, listening. Make sure to subscribe, follow, like, favorite, and comment. Download. Waterboy's out.